Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Know your politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding by watching what politicians do. We must now develop the habit to stop, look, listen, and learn from what they're saying. Without that, we will not be able to effectively watch what they're doing. I want to use this opportunity to wish all Jamaicans home and abroad all the best for the 2025 New Year. We're venturing into the second month, to the second or third day of it, and it's absolutely necessary to extend best wishes to all Jamaicans wherever you are. I know it's going to be tough, it's going to be rough, and I can only hope for the best for us all, not just for myself, but us all. Also want to use the opportunity to say to all Jamaicans here in the diaspora in America, Canada, England, wherever you are across the globe, if you can help Jamaicans back home, your family members, reach out and lend an helping hand. It is now important, it is now more necessary than ever. You understand? We must have even a favorite cousin or a favorite auntie or brother back home where we can say, boy, and we know they need help. Lend a helping hand. When a man call up from Jamaica or something, be honest with them, don't curse, don't quarrel, tell them the truth. I don't have it today, I can give it to you next week, or whenever I put something together, I can send something, come, but you just have to hold on. Because life is going to be tough for us all wherever we are. And life is tough for us all wherever we are. But more so than ever right now, the time has come for us to start to lend an hand to our fellow Jamaicans. I say that because what I see happening here in the US is going to drive this world into, it's pushing the world to the edge of the socio-economic pit. You understand? And I'm sure if Jamaica, if things happen the way they're planning it under this administration, Jamaica is not unique. Jamaica is not special. We too can fall into that pit. And having said that, it surprises me to know that our own Prime Minister, I haven't heard much coming out of them in terms of this whole mass deportation thing that's coming up. I read something, I think I read something that the one person was suggesting that the Prime Minister set up like a holding here or some here for them when they come, so they have somewhere to go and place to stay and all of that. And maybe a speech from the Prime Minister that I read or heard that he commented that he's hoping that when they do come back to Jamaica, these immigrants who are deported back to Jamaica can find themselves meaningful jobs and become productive citizens of the country. But that is all good talk, Mr. Prime Minister, because the question now begs me, your last unemployment rate was not good. Really not good. And I don't think that unemployment figures include people who have stopped looking for jobs. I don't think it includes the people who have stopped looking for jobs in Jamaica. And the jobs you're talking about for these deportees coming back home, deported immigrants coming back home, I don't know where you're going to find jobs for them. I don't know where you're going to get jobs for them because there's so many Jamaicans at home right now not working. So I don't know where you're going to, but I wish you all the luck on that and wish you all the best. And I hear nothing coming out of the PNP either. I'm not really, because my thing is not about PNP or JLP or JLP or PNP. I don't hear nothing meaningful coming from the Prime Minister. I don't hear nothing meaningful coming out of the JLP, the PNP either, in respect to these deported immigrants coming back. Because let us not kid ourselves. Election is coming up this year. And whichever party wins the election and forms the next government, whichever party becomes the next government, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be shit. Hell house for Jamaica. It's going to be hell for Jamaica. It's not going to be in paradise no more. It's going to be a struggle. When I say struggle, I mean a real struggle. Right? Now, when we look at what is happening here under the Trump administration here in America, with all these tariffs that is dashing out left, right, and center, as if tariffs is just going to drop on people's doorstep and make them drop on people's economy or country's economy, and all of a sudden everybody's better off. The whole world will be better off because of tariffs. This kind of stupidity is going to lead the world on the brink of chaos and destruction, suffering, hardship. And I guess the people who won't be suffering and seeing any hardships are the billionaires of this world. The rich people of this world, they won't see any hardships. But it's going to be tough for average people like us. You know, it's going to be tough. And if they get if things happen the way they are planning it if things should happen the way they planned it to happen, you understand? The world is going to be in serious existential crisis. The world, not just Jamaica. And by extension, I'm also looking at what is happening in the Caribbean. I'm looking and I'm expecting to hear about a Caribbean delegation that is going to, form a creation of a Caribbean delegation to respond to all of these tariffs that have been handed out to places like China, Canada, Mexico, all these places. Because whether we want to believe it or not, or understand it or not, it's going to affect us. It will affect us. And it's going to drive America crazy. It's not going to, people here, things are going to get really, really expensive in America. And if things get really expensive in Jamaica, goddamn now, what's up back in Jamaica too. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be expensive in the Caribbean. I've yet to hear what is Caribbean response to this, collectively, individually, and I've yet to hear what is Jamaica's real response to all of these tariffs that the current Trump administration is dishing out. You understand? But that for another matter. Election is coming up. Election is this year. And the Prime Minister is promising all sort of goodies for Jamaica, what's going to happen and what he can deliver, what he won't deliver, what program he wants to continue and all of this. But I'm here to say, Mr. Prime Minister, loud and clear to you, you're bullshitting the nation, and it's time we stop doing it. We must speak to the people in reality. We must be honest with the people we want to govern. And the same thing for the PMP Mark Golding and his party members. It's time for you guys to stop bullshitting the people of Jamaica. Anyone wins the coming election, any party becomes the governing party of Jamaica in the next election, after the next election is over, is going to be in serious existential crisis. We'll face some serious problem. For instance, one of the problems we're going to see, because Jamaica has have a nice developed port. We have a great port for shipping. We have a great shipping port. But with all of that, if what is happening here in the US continue to happen the way this administration wants it to happen, let me tell you something. As good as our shipping port be, brother, it won't be able to bring the kind of revenue that we think it's going to bring. So whichever government, that is one example I'm showing out there. So whichever government forms the next election, be honest to the people. Let them know it's going to be a hard road. It's going to be a long road. Because the economic power is shifting. You understand? It is shifting. BRICS is the new economic power now that's come. A lot of countries joining BRICS. And even if we join BRICS as Jamaica, our benefit won't be instant. Benefits won't be instant. Doesn't automatically happen tomorrow morning. You understand? It doesn't happen tomorrow morning. And I'd like the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition, the Shadow Minister of Finance and the Shadow Minister of Mr. Williams. I'd like you to come forth, Mr. Williams, and let the nation know that if your party wins the next election, and this 10% tariff that is placed on China and the 25% tariff placed on Canada, how will that affect our trading, our import-export situation? How will it take? I'd like any one of the minister, even any minister then, who think they know it, come and tell us, the nation, warn us, let what the nation be aware of how it will affect our situation. And these are the things we need you people as politicians to start to talk about. When you're out there in your campaign speech telling people how much road you're going to build and how much this you're going to do and jobs you're going to create, when you know very well and damn well that you can't create these jobs you're promising people, you know it cannot happen. Because there's so many things that has to be in place before you can think about creating jobs. So many things has to happen before you can even think about creating these jobs. And the precursor to creating these jobs is not even in place. It's not in place, but yet you're promising things. And this is both JLP and PMP. PMP is promising they're going to make better healthcare, better education, cheaper this. Where you get the money from? How is it going to happen? When we're looking into a world that is changing right in front of our damn faces. And you're promising people things that you've been promising from the 60s and can't deliver up to today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. It's important now for us to wake up, and let me tell you something. I've asked my Jamaican people, especially in diaspora, to be more kind, be more gentle, be more considerate to your family back home, because the time is coming when they're going to need you. And even if you can send them $10, it may just be a saving $10 to save them life. Be prepared to help people back home, because if what is happening in the world, if the way the power is shifting in the world happened the way they planned it, it is planned, we're going to be in serious problem back in Jamaica. You know, I did a survey a couple of days ago, and I spoke to about 25 Jamaicans on phone. Individually, not collectively, individually. And I think I only had one group call on it with about 3 or 4 of us. And my question to them is, what do you think of the performance of the Trump administration here in America, and this mass immigration plan and all these plans to do this and do that? And what do you think of the tariffs he's turning around left, right, and center, as if I'm turning other countries' lap, as if because he throw tariffs on them, it means everything's going to be easier for both that country and for America and all that. What do you think about these things? Even what is your understanding of tariff? And most of their reply was, boy, I'm not saying anything, because what way this man a go on is like him can send man for me anytime and deport me, so I don't agree with him. So I said to him, so that's fine. I understand your opinion, I understand where you're coming from. But what do you think about Andrew Holness of Jamaica? Andrew Holness a thief, Andrew Holness corrupt, Andrew Holness a liar, the man in government to go one side, people will vote them out. Now, listen this, we are doing this side-by-side comparison. Now, the man is living in a country in America here. He has nothing to say about the current leader, because he's afraid they send man come pick him up and deport him to Jamaica. But he's willing to sit here, live under a oppressive government, who's suppressing and oppressing every rights he has. While he sits there under that, keep quiet, and curse out the government back home, in the country where he's born, in the country where he come from, in the country where he swear say love to him heart, and in the country where he swear say, as long as him live, no matter what citizenship of another country, he's going to be a Jamaican in his heart. Now look at that. Some people say they don't business with it. Even some people I spoke to, they don't business with politics. Leave them to God. Me say you can always leave them to God if you want, but I remember at about 15, 16 years of age, you remember a theater in Old Harbour they call Rio. That's where I first came across a poem, Desiderata. The poem, Desiderata. Many of us know it, many of us don't know one hell about it. But I never forget the most important lines I walk away with, that I must always go placidly amongst the noise and confusion. I do not compare. It is vain to compare yourself to others. And thirdly, there's no doubt that the world is unfolding as it should. You understand? So if and I said to the people who tell me leave it to God, I say, okay, leave it to God. The world is unfolding as it should. And if those lines are true, why is the world unfolding the way it should? Why are you willing to sit back and suffer? And why are you willing to sit back and watch an oppressive regime do what they want to do and determine your freedom, determine what you become tomorrow, what you eat, what you can't afford, where you go, where you don't go? But yet you're willing to sit under that oppressiveness and still curse out the political leader from the country where you're from, Or you big up one, curse out the other, vice versa. And yet you're existing somewhere where you have nothing to say about a system that is even more suppressive and oppressive than the one you're cursing. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to get smart. And I'm using this opportunity to say to all bloggers out there, political bloggers, because I know some of you guys are being paid by PNP to say what you're saying and some by the JLP. I know that. You're getting paid to do what you're doing. You understand? And JLP people and PNP party members are supporting a lot of you bloggers. And like I said, I'm not asking no PNP nor no JLP to support anything that I have. You understand? I'm not interested in any PNP and JLP to support. I'm going to speak what I have to speak. And who like it, who don't like it, just don't like it. That is what it is for me. It is time for us to use our voice as bloggers to really start to help Jamaicans, help to educate our own Jamaicans politically. For them to understand what politics is. What's the importance of politics? Why are we getting what the kind of quality of service that we're getting for our politicians? As Michael Perkins used to say during his time, politics is all about who gets what, where, when, why, and how. That's the politics we've been getting from 1962. It has nothing to do with the equitable distribution of justice, opportunity, and wealth. Nothing to do with that. You understand? And when we talk about who gets what, where, when, why, and how, we're talking about the man up the top. That politics start from the top down to the bottom. So depending on how far down you are, determines how much you get. The quality of service you get, and the farther down you get, is the worse your service gets, the worse your benefit gets. You understand? You're treated like nothing. So instead of we talking and benefiting from politicians individually, yes, the money is great and all of you want the money. Take it and run with it. Because the country is not going to better the way you guys are going about it. I can say this loud and clear. The way you guys are going about it, and listen, this is said loud and clear on the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel, Know Your Politics, let's come together, create a better understanding by watching what politicians do. I'm saying this loud and clear to all bloggers out there, to most of you bloggers, I should say. Most of you are supporting PNP and those who are supporting JLP. Jamaica will never better under that premise. If we're talking about the betterment of Jamaica, it will never be better. I've never heard one of you say, yes, the PNP and JLP can come together and do something for the country. Even one thing together. It's not going to happen. And worse, now that the economic power is shifting, now new world order is creating, how are we going to cope? The country is not going to go under unless a earthquake come and swallow it up, or tsunami. But how are we going to suffer? I've not heard anyone calling upon the Prime Minister. I've not heard anyone calling upon the leader of opposition and the shadow minister to speak and things and let us know what we have planned. Not even to tell the nation the honest truth, that it's going to be tough going forward. Not even to do that, to say, listen, the way things are shaping up international, we're going to have a rough time. If it happens the way they planned it, we will have a rough time. This is what we're trying to put in place to offset some of the struggles. So if we get to a point where we're struggling, remember, country, it is not new. You were told we have to be prepared for it as best as we can. No. You're not even getting that message from political parties. What do they want us to do? Oh, we're going to promise you this. We're going to make health service better. We're going to make cost education and transportation and health cheap and all of these things. Make these things affordable for people. We're going to provide jobs for people. Jobs from where? If the employment rate in Jamaica is what it is today, and there are people in the country who are not even seeking a job, where are we going to apply? How are we going to develop the opportunity? Where will we find jobs for people? Where will the government find jobs for you? Who is promising jobs? You see, I can't tell a person not to jump up behind a PNP or JLP bandwagon. I can't tell you not to do that. But what I can tell you is that stupidity won't work any much longer. That stupidity won't work much longer. What's going to work and benefit you and allow you to live a better quality of life is when you start to pay interest in the politics and start to take note of what politicians are doing and hold politicians to their word. We have to hold them to their word. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamaicans home and abroad, the world is changing. Let us not kid ourselves. The world is changing. Economic power, military power, everything is changing right before our face. I haven't heard anything collectively from the Caribbean basin. I haven't heard anything collectively coming out of the Caribbean how to respond to this new world order that's gonna change. It's changing. And one thing I can tell people, when powerful countries like China and America and Russia and all this, once those wheels of change start to turn, you could cry until Jesus come. That wheel's not gonna stop. It may not turn as fast. You understand? Because some of the ideology slows down the purpose. But it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. You understand? It's not gonna stop. So ladies and gentlemen, once again I want to use this opportunity, Leonard Robinson. Welcome to the Leonard Robinson Show. Know your politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding by watching what our politicians do. And we know, like I said, I've always said, we've been hijacked from 1962. Recent constitutional reform further hijacked us. You understand? So as time goes by, we have less and less power, we have less and less autonomy, we have less and less talk, we have less and less ability to participate in the political process in our own governance. You understand? So it is time for us as people to come together and change all of that. The greatest power in the country is people power. When people move, everything else responds. No matter how military mighty you are. If you kill off everybody, every average citizen in the country, no military has any power. No government has any power. Nobody has power. People have power, governments have power, the military have power because of them, the citizens of the country. Check it out. And it is time for us as Jamaicans to wake up. Again, for those of us in the diaspora, let us use our opportunity for the time being to help our Jamaicans back home. Regardless, let us help people back home, man. If you have a $10 can send go here, man, send it. Because that might just be a saving grace for him, a $10. You understand? Don't bother curse out when a person call you for beggar money. Because you see it on YouTube where people, Jamaicans ask family for money. I say, wait, let me go check the tree if any money there upon it. And they say, no, the tree have blossomed, you have to wait until it bears such and such a time. Call me back in this. A winter time now, call me back in the spring or in the summer. All them things there. All them kind of disrespectful comment. I mean, we need to stop it, we need to cut it out, we need to treat our Jamaicans people back home fairly well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Now I have a lot more time on my hand. I'll be able to at least one or two videos per week. Thank you very much. And like I said, if you see this video anywhere, for those who see it, please subscribe to it. It's important that we try to spread it, grow this channel and get it right across in a bigger way. Share, like, share your dislike, because everything we can learn from everything and from any response. And don't be afraid to comment. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. You understand? Don't be afraid. It is what it is. Lenny Robbins, know your politics. See you later, Jamaicans.